Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this. Well, I guess you can call it a newscast, but it's really not. I'm Hakeem Johnson, your HW commentator, as always. Skippy skip, yada yada, with you. Um, Today I just want to kind of go on a little bit of a rant, a little bit of a venting kind of message or whatever, or speech about something that's been bothering me from today that I've been following for a couple of months now, and I just want to talk about that because I just feel like maybe this kind of medium would be a way for me to just air out my grievances and all that stuff. But before I get to that, as you guys all know, starting Monday will be Animania 3 week, and starting off Animania 3 week on Monday will be the ACW newscast. It'll be an hour long, maybe even an hour and a half long, and I have plans to do it live, so it would give me an excuse to use the Google Plus chat system or however. So you're not gonna see my face or anything, no Skype or anything like that, but just me kind of just doing the newscast like I normally would, but you guys would have your own chat room and you can ask me any unlimited amount of questions that you would like to ask me during the chat as live. And just ask away anything. ACW, Animania, CAW, music, movies, politics, sports, whatever you want to ask, anime, whatever you want to ask. You're allowed to ask whatever you want, and I'm going to answer them to the best of my knowledge and abilities, and we'll just have a fun time before we really get things started on Tuesday with the Hall of Fame, Wednesday with the Super Smash Bros. Brawl special, Thursday the pre-show, Friday the actual event, Animania 3, and Saturday we'll be doing another one of these for the ACW newscast, and that'll be more about talking about the future of ACW going forward. Um, so get ready for that on Monday, and I'll let you guys know the time and how that all will be set up on Monday. As between now and Monday, I'll let you guys know through social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all that stuff. Okay, so just established that. So let me get to what I want to talk about, and what I wanted to talk about was if you guys have been paying attention on television, smartphones, laptop, whatever, however you are watching it. Um, you've been seeing a lot of these nationwide protests and marches um, stemming from the events of Ferguson, Missouri, with Mike Brown, and then New York City with Eric Gardner. And let me just say for the record, and let me just also state this right now: this is not going to be like the most intricate, deep, well thought kind of rant you've ever heard in your life. I mean, I could do one of those. I've always been able to do one of those. It's not like I'm not aware of the situations. I'm not aware of everything around it. This is just kind of me shooting the breeze, kind of just me saying my thoughts unfiltered, just because I want to, because it's just something that's in my mind that's kind of pissing me off. But yeah, back to that though. Let me just say that I'm not surprised by the decisions of the fact that Mike Brown, or at least or at least that whole situation there, they were gonna get a trial, and the same thing with Eric Gardner. The officer won't even get indicted, so we can't even have the debate whether Mike Brown was in self-defense or was he trying to intentionally try to hurt this officer. We can't even have that debate on trial. So um, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. Uh, uh, this country has always had somewhat of a I don't know what the right word for it is, but it's always had some sort of underlying hate for people like me, people that look like me, people that resemble me. And I don't even think hate's the right word because hate is a strong word. I think I don't know what it is, but it is a very negative annotation towards people like me. And I'm don't get me wrong, I'm the type of guy that whenever someone says nigger, right? I'm not the type of guy to get angry and just lash out and try to look for a fight. I'm a lot more tolerant than a lot of people think, or I'm a lot more tolerant than a lot of people are today. Like that stuff wouldn't bother me because I know that's not what I am. So if I know that's not what I am, why should I get angry when someone calls me that? You know what I'm saying? So I don't. I'm more tolerant and relaxed than a lot of people will think. But it just astounds me that people still try to find ways to ignore the big elephant in the room and try to use straw man fallacies of, well, there's always black on black violence. Why can't they fix their communities? And to be honest with you, there's a lot of kind of legitimate questions around those type of topics. But what I hate is when people bring up those topics to say as if those are more important issues than what really happened with Eric Gardner and Mike Brown. Um, that's like saying with this whole GamerGate situation, right? With the whole unethical treatment within the video game journalism industry. Well, there's starving people in Africa. Why don't you put your focus on that? You see what I'm talking about? Just because there is a bigger problem than the other does not necessarily mean that the lesser problem does not exist. And I'm not racist for saying that. I'm a realist. And I think it's high time people stop being afraid of what they have to say. I might not agree with your opinion. I might not even want to respect your opinion. But I understand that it's your right to state that opinion. And it's your right to say what you want to say, no matter how extreme it could be. But there seems to be a double standard when it comes to someone like me saying that. But, again, I'm not, I have nothing against racists. I'm not the type of, well, I hate white people. No, I'm not that guy. I'm really not. Although I do hate when there are certain people that say, well, I can't be a racist. I actually listen to hip hop. I can't be racist to black people. I have a black friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate those type of people that use underlying racism to try to cover up what is obvious. But I'm not. That's not even really what I want to kind of rant against. That's kind of just not what I want to rant against. Um. So there's been a lot of protests after the no indictments for those two cases, and I I encourage it. I'm not an anarchist in a way. Like, I don't encourage violence, but at the same time, I'm sick of all these people that want to use code language like unity and peace to try to undercut and misrepresent people's legitimate frustration and anger when certain tragedies and situations happen like this. I think it's disrespectful, and I think it's disingenuous to those people, especially to the ones that they lost their loved ones for. And I will get to those certain people in a minute, but it's a little bit of a shame. Okay, I'm not asking for violence. No one's saying to shoot everybody on sight to justify that anger, because that's not going to bring those people back. But what I am saying is, don't tell people not to be angry. Don't tell people that they can't feel a certain type of way, especially when they see it happen on a daily basis. So that's another issue. But with the terms of the protests and the marches, I do like seeing the just unified, the unified kind of coalition try to come in and try to bring this issue into the forefront. And make no mistake about it, okay? All right, fuck the mainstream media. And yes, folks, I am going to be using a lot of profanity and explicitness in this rant. But yeah, fuck the mainstream media, because they had no part in this. This is solely based on the social media aspect that we live in today. And that's the reason why the mainstream media today is in a dying state, and it's been on a dying decline for years now, because they are afraid of the fourth estate. They are afraid of the internet becoming what they used to be when television was brand new in the 50s. So the fact of the matter is that you can go on the internet and you can find your news and your resources and your information. You don't necessarily need the mainstream media to tell you what you already know or what you need to know, because essentially the mainstream media isn't there to inform you. They're there to distort you, and that cannot be denied. Okay? The mainstream media have their corporate entities and masters that they obey to. And they have those masters that they always have to listen to so they can profit off it by their ratings and their revenues. I hope people understand this. So when people say, well, Fox News is not real news, which they're right, well, what the hell is CNN? What the hell is MSNBC, ABC, NBC, CBS, all these other networks? They're all in bed together. It's just like the whole stupid two-party system with this Democrats and Republican thing. They're the same damn evil. They're just two different faces on the same coin. We gotta start waking up, people. Like, we need to start waking up on the fact that there are just certain entities that don't give a shit about you, and that's just a fact. And that brings me to my rant here. Speaking of people that don't give a shit about you, that brings me to Al Sharpton, my good old punching bag that I like to just kind of refer to. And let me just let you know right now, I am not a fan of Al Sharpton. I recognize and understand the efforts that he put forth in the past. I'm not denying that they didn't exist. But I've always found Al Sharpton to be in it for himself. I always found the likes of Al Sharpton, like the Jesse Jacksons and the Ben Jealouses and the NAACPs and the National Action Networks of the world, to all be in it for themselves. That they will not really legitimately care about an issue unless it benefits their pockets and it benefits their image in the public. In many ways, Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson are race hustlers to me. Now, calm the hell down, conservatives that like to use that, point across as well. Because trust me, I'm not one of you either. I'm not a conservative. I'm not even necessarily a liberal. I would have to describe myself as more of a libertarian, I guess. If you want to kind of pin me somewhere, like I'm a libertarian with left leaning stances. So I'm probably more of a left libertarian. I'm not a left authoritarian. That's what liberals are today. That's not me either. I used to be. That's not who I am. I actually woke up. So, anyways, back to what I was saying though. The likes of Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, they are people that are bought and paid for to come in and co-opt a tragedy or a situation such as you're seeing right now to benefit their image and their profits at the expense of the people. That's who they've always been for as long as I've been alive, and that's what they'll probably continue to be until they wither away. And it's a damn shame because, Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, they have these platforms. They have these people that will listen to every word that they say, that will follow them everywhere they walk, that will buy whatever they're selling. And instead of using that for really finding justice, for really trying to pave the way for a new type of kind of leadership, a new type of generation for them to follow their footsteps, they'd rather use it to sell merchandise, sell books, and just make more of a bigger public image for themselves. To make their brand more respectable, profitable, all that stuff. So today there was the Black Lives Matter rally, I guess, in Washington D.C. And I didn't watch it or anything, but I was following it on Twitter when I woke up, and I was not surprised at what was going down there. Apparently, first of all, there was no youth. The actual black youth that were there, that kind of just started the whole trend of what you're seeing with these rallies today in terms of Ferguson in New York. Those guys. Yeah, there was barely any young people presence. There was any, young black people presence in that stage. Just had to be the old guard. It just had to be the old senile fucks that can't let go of a past glory, that they want to try to measure up to the likes of Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X and Booker T. Washington and W.E. Du Bois and all those other leaders, Marcus Garvey, all those other leaders that really actually did something. They try to measure it up, but they fail to see why they were such, powerful figures in their own right. So, Al Sharpton and his ilk were telling these young people to, unless you have a VIP pass, unless you have a press pass, you can't be on stage. What the fuck? I thought this was a rally. I thought it was a protest. Why the fuck do you need VIP passes for a fucking protest, especially for a tragedy such as this? unless you're a profiteer, unless you're or a professional bullshitter. Because there's no justification for it. Especially those type of youth that were there from the beginning. Where the fuck were you when they were getting tear gas? Where the fuck were you when there was the militarization of police hounding them at every corner of the West Florissant and Ferguson, Missouri? Where the fuck were you when they were trying to find ways and mean ways to get this out of social media? No, what you were doing, Al Sharpton, was going on your stupid ass MSNBC show and trying to pretend that you gave a fuck while you sat comfortable there in New York City, and while these people were suffering, looking for leaders, looking for somebody to help them get to where they wanted to mentally and physically. No, you just sat there and profited off of it from your own bullshit. Because that's who you've always been, Al Sharpton. Reverend Al. Honestly, I look at you every day and I hear your voice and you're a piece of shit to me. Because you come over here and you profit off the black community. You profit off black tragedies. You profit off a lot of things. If this is the NAACP, and I hate to be, one of these conservatives that try to use this as a boogeyman because they're no different either, but, I mean, why are we not hearing about Mexicans or Asians or whites? Why don't I hear you when you do that? Again, I'm a humanist, okay? I am there for all people. I represent equality for all people. But in this instance, it is a race issue. I'm sorry to tell you that, people. It's not a human issue in this instance. It's a race issue. It's been that way for a while. Welcome to Black America. Sorry to tell you that. But the fact of the matter is that the fact that Al Sharpton has the nerve to come to Washington, D.C., the capital of all that is corruption in this goddamn country, for Al Sharpton to come in here and try to co-opt the efforts that the young people and social media did for these efforts and tragedies, for him to come in here and try to profit off the dead, because that's what you did. I saw screen caps on Facebook and Twitter of Black Lives Matter's calendars and body cams and prints and T-shirts. So essentially, you're using the likeness of Mike Brown and Eric Gardner. I even saw one with Trayvon Martin and Tamir Rice that just got shot as well in Cleveland. Those likenesses, you're using their images on T-shirts and calendars to sell your bullshit and profit it off to fit your fat fucking pockets. The fact of the matter is, Al Sharpton, the reason why you do what you do is because day by day, you're becoming an irrelevant figure in pop culture. And honestly, you're becoming an even irrelevant figure in the black community. Who the fuck elected Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson to be my leaders? I sure the fuck didn't. And I'm sure a lot of people will agree with me as well. Who the fuck had the election to say that Al Sharpton is the one that's supposed to speak for me? Or Jesse Jackson's supposed to speak for me? I'd rather have like someone like a Cornel West speak for me than a Jesse Jackson. I'd rather have a Malcolm X speak for me than an Al Sharpton. I'd rather have a Tupac fucking Shakur speak for me than Ben Jealous. Because at least with them, at least from their standpoint, you can tell they're genuine. You can tell that at least the likes of Cornel West and Tavis Smiley and Malcolm X and Tupac Shakur and everybody else, at least they were genuine. No matter what you thought of them personally, at least they were genuine. At least you knew they came from the heart. They were raw about what they spoke. They didn't give a fuck about what anyone thought about them. And as long as they spoke what they thought in their mind and heart was right, that's all that mattered to them. And that takes a lot of balls in this pussified PC country society that we're living in today. So it makes me sick. The young people of this whole march and protest are being co-opted and telling that they can't be a part of this movement that you're trying to co-opt once again with your people, the same people that you always see on television, the same people that are always there in your marches and rallies. I even heard a black congressman go up on stage and say, we need to take these protests to the federal government. Are you fucking retarded? Are you fucking gullible? Are you naive, slow, stupid, or just retarded? take it to the federal government. Yeah, because that'll work, because they'll give a shit and they'll do it with the most fairest and honest way possible. Am I right? No, the fuck they wouldn't. So for the young people and everybody else alike that came into this thing genuinely and trying to make a difference and are trying to push the notion that these things have to stop, and if that there has to be a revolution maybe for this to stop, then by all means, by any means necessary. For those pushing that narrative, you've got my salute. You've always got my respect. You will always get my backing from me because at least I know you guys are honest where you're coming from. To the profiteers, to the race hustlers, and to all the professional bullshitters, fuck everybody. Fuck you all. Fuck each and every single one of you. Because you are the part of the problem. You are the reason why this cancer continues to grow on this society. You're the reason why this society cannot move forward as much as we talk about living in a post-racial world. We're nowhere close to that. Obama being elected didn't get us there, so how the fuck are all you old fucks getting us there either? Step aside. This is not your generation anymore. Quite frankly, this is not your fight anymore. This isn't 1960 goddamn 8 anymore. Al, Jesse, Ben. It's time for the youth to take over. You can either give the torch to them or they'll snatch it. Either way, it's going to go to their hands, whether you like it or not. I don't hate, and I don't want anyone to get it wrong, I don't hate Al Sharpton. I don't hate Jesse Jackson. I don't hate the NAACP. Like I stated earlier, hate is a strong word. People need to use those words like hate and love carefully. But I generally dislike people like them and organizations like them that will use their own people as shields to protect them from the legitimate criticism and doubts that people have against them. And it makes me sick. And it makes me even worse and sicker when people defend their bullshit. Now, I don't know if it's because it's for money reasons or to get more political gain, or is it just because to get more media press for them? I don't know. But what I do know is that every time an Al Sharpton or a Jesse Jackson messes up or says something that can be criticized as even maybe racist, nobody on that side wants to say a goddamn word. And why? I don't know. I may have my reasons like I just stated, but they never seem to say anything. So, that was my rant. It's gone over 20 minutes, I understand, but I just wanted to get that off my chest because I'm not gonna just stand here and sit here and just let people try to talk to me as if the Al Sharptons and the Jesse Jacksons are doing something right with this movement. They never do. They never do. It's time to wake up, people. They're not there for you. If you didn't elect them to that position, even though they wouldn't be there regardless for that anyways, why the fuck would they be there for you? You're not paying their bills. The corporate masters are. So of course they won't give a shit about you. It's time people wake up for that. Now, people are going to try to take my words and say, oh, so he's a conservative, he's all that. I'm not a fucking conservative. Quite frankly, I'm not even a liberal. Like I stated, I'm more of an independent libertarian with left-leaning issues. I mean, left-leaning, tendencies. But this shit has got to stop. This shit has got to stop. And I'm talking about in terms of how many more black people have to be killed by police. And don't even bring up the straw man with, well, white people get killed by police too. I understand that. I recognize that. But you know there's a deeper issue. There's a more intricate issue with black people and the police. Period. And you know that. No one's denying that white people or Mexicans get killed by cops too. No one's denying that. But with the history between black people and the police, there is always something between those lines that unfortunately has not been closed with the gap yet. So, how many more black kids, whether you agree with their lifestyle or not, whether they've done things wrong or not, how many of them do they have to be killed until we say enough is a fuck enough? I'm going to stand on my ground. and fuck everybody who thinks otherwise. Okay, so I just want to get that off my chest. So I know some will disagree and some will agree. That's fine. I don't expect a circle jerk, but at the same time, I don't expect a bash party either. I just was kind of just speaking my mind. Just wanted to say things unfiltered. Kind of just wanted to shoot the breeze as to what I felt, and there you have it. So um, I just had to get that out there. Feeling a lot better now. It's kind of something that was just breathing down my neck, and I just want to get that out there so you guys know where I stand with this issue. So, and if you guys want to ask me follow-up questions, you guys can ask me all those questions on Monday during the live newscast chat, and I will be happy to answer them. If you even disagree with me, I'll be happy to, debate, I guess. But yeah, that'll be it for the new. I guess this newscast edition, whatever you want to call it. It's not really a newscast; it's just really more of a rant. But whatever. There was my rant. I will see you guys this Monday for the ACW Animania 3 week, and we will get that started as it's the final week of ACW related programming for the year 2014 until we take our 3-month hiatus, which I cannot personally wait for because I damn sure need it. So I will see you guys on Monday, and as always, maybe I should probably do this too after my rant just now. Stay cool. Stay cool. I'll see you guys on Monday.